Exclusive. ELRUFAI Rat Buhari says terrorists creating parallel government in Kaduna. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post hot juicy news update. Please click on the notification bell. The governor's leaked memo to the president warns of the terrorist advanced plans to create a permanent operational base for the Northwest region. Terrorists are consolidating their grip on the communities in Kaduna with a parallel government and a permanent operational base in the northwestern state near Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Governor Nasir ELRUFAI has told the President Muhammad Buhari, Premium Times can exclusively report. Mr. ELRUFAI warned the President of the terrorist consolidation in a late July memo cited by Premium Times. The terrorists belonging to Ansaru and Muslimina Fibilites al-Sudan, or Ansaru for short, are believed to have moved to Benin Gwari in Kaduna State in 2012, where they broke away from Boko Haram. According to intelligence reports and human sources consulted in further reporting for the story, the terrorists that formed Ansaru were responsible for some of the high-profile attacks claimed by Boko Haram before the split. Such attacks included the United Nations building bombing of August 2011 and the kidnapping of some foreigners. According to the sources, Ansaru pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic Maghreb (AQIM) in 2020 and is responsible for many of the high-profile abductions as well as the attacks on the police in Kaduna State. But researchers and negotiators within an understanding of the working of a terrorist told Premium Times that a collaboration of the terror groups including the original Boko Haram, also called JAS, ISWAP, Ansaru and Bandit is evolving. In 2021, 1,192 people lost their lives in Kaduna State due to banditry, terrorism, communal clashes, violent attacks, and reprisals. In the first month of 2022, 645 people lost their lives in such circumstances across the state, the government said. In Mr. ELRUFAI's late July memo, he laid bare how the terrorists have infiltrated and dominated communities and formed a parallel governing authority, exercising control over social and economic activities and dispensation of justice in the area. He said, the terrorists have advanced in their plans to make Kaduna Forest areas the permanent operational base for the Northwest region, citing a series of intelligence reports. Observed movement patterns and intercepted communications of migrating terrorists have shown a clear interest in setting up a base where the stretches of forest area between Kaduna and Niger State strongly considered, he wrote. As the political activities toward the 2023 elections pick up steam, the terrorists, Mr. ELRUFAI, told Mr. Buhari, have promulgated a law to ban residents from participating. The insurgents enacted a law in the district banning all forms of political activity or campaign ahead of a 2023 election, especially in the Modibaya and Kazage villages, the governor wrote. The Ansaru terrorists were known to have an extremist ideological posture against democracy and secular authorities. In 2021, the census and enumeration exercise could only hold in the 2 of the 11 wards that formed Benin Gwari due to the threat of armed banditry and terrorism. Officials on both the Kaduna State government and the Population Commission told Premium Times. The ban on political activities, the governor said, followed a recent wedding ceremony involving the terrorist. According to actionable intelligence, members of the Jama'atu Ansarul Muslimina Fibilites Sudan, aka Ansaru, hibernating in Koyalo district of Benin Gwari local government area, recently conducted a nuptial ceremony during which they married 2 yet to be identified female residents of Koyalo village, Mr. ELRUFAI wrote. The ceremony was attended by various Ansaru members and witnessed by residents of the area. After the marital rite, insurgents in attendance reportedly conveyed the brides to the dreaded Kuduru forest in the same district. In the area of adjudicating disputes, Mr. ELRUFAI said the terrorists fined warned Muazu Ibrahim, a resident of Kuyelo community, the sum of 1 million naira for selling plots of land without the consent of the owners. In addition, with the government becoming removed from rural areas, leaving them at the mercy of violent criminals, terrorists, Mr. ELRUFAI suggested, are manning the ungoverned space and extracting revenues from the people. Multiple reports also exist of bandits and terrorists extracting protection levies and similar taxes from farmers and communities in return for permission to cultivate their fields, the governor said. Terrorism researchers say the revenues from taxes and levies foster on ungoverned spaces created by failure or limited capacity of the government are a major source of financing and sustenance for terrorists. Like the KADUNA situation described by Mr. ELRUFAI, ISWAP terrorists based on the Lake Chad Islands are also extracting huge revenues from the fishing activities and pastoralists operating in the area. Mr. ELRUFAI, when contacted, said he would not comment on this story because his correspondence was supposed to be confidential communication to the president. In 2016, he wrote a similar confidential letter to the president, warning that Buhari administration was losing momentum just about a year after coming to power. Now wow, who would have believed that such a day would come, that a whole Kaduna state, the terrorists don't use and do their base. This one will be better news. Or this the sweet belly at all. Is this not the same ELRUFAI that made mockery of Jonathan as a drunkard who lacked the capacity to fight common insurgents? You don't say the insurgents are no longer common. They are now overtaking your land and your place. Person will say make you no judge until you dey for that person's shoes. The person know wetin they talk. The person will be Chris person. This is the consequence of doing the wrong things, expressing the heart of another. When ELRUFAI and his Muslim brothers were bringing in terrorists from Niger and other places, he never envisaged this backlash. This experience should be a checklight to every evil-minded group of persons. Who are you deceiving? We all know that you and the terrorists are one and the same. Wow. You don't mean it. How can your invited guest wanted to form a government instead of creating a nation? You don't need to write Buhari because both of you are the same. Your plans are known to all. Well, at this point, my heart goes out to residents of Kaduna, whether you like it or not. There are people there and they are suffering. I know the pity for these government people at all. My heart goes out to residents of these places, and sincerely, we don't see that their suffering don't increase. We sincerely hope that one day we're going to wake up and all this will be a very dim memory, a very dim memory in us. Okay, on this note, you have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your